What's up, Sales Squad? Welcome back to Sales and Business Strategy for Women podcast. This is the place for female entrepreneurs to learn and implement sales skills, business growth strategies, and figure out how to manage your time better so that we can fit it all in. I am Lindsay Fletcher. I'm your host for this podcast. Thank you so much for joining me for episode number 30. I wish I had one of those little audio clips that I could play right now that would cheer and, make all the noise. I'm so super excited to hit this milestone, and I'm so thankful that you are here and with me along the way. If you haven't already, please be sure to hit the follow button on your podcast app so that you don't miss anything. I'll be doing 2 episodes a week going forward. So Tuesdays and Fridays will be your podcast days with me. Today, we are talking about selling without feeling salesy. And I think it's something that we all want, right? We've all experienced it. We've been pressured to buy something, or we feel like you're letting someone down because their product or service doesn't meet your needs or wants or budget. That's when the ick factor shows up in sales. And it's human nature to want to be liked and accepted. And that applies to both sides of the sales transaction. Buyers don't want to disappoint or offend you, and you don't want to use high pressure sales tactics to get someone to buy because that feels pretty terrible. Trying to avoid being salesy is something that we should all do. And it's what the vast majority of us want, right? I believe in selling with integrity, being kind, being helpful, and being respectful. It's just like I tell my kids when they go to a friend's house: kind, helpful, respectful. So how do we keep from selling without being salesy? Here are 6 tips to avoid being salesy and selling with integrity. Number 1, I want you to ask yourself about your product or service. Do you actually believe in what you are selling? Is there evidence that your product or service does what you say it will do? Or is there a disconnect in what you're selling versus how it performs? Because that can cause you to feel icky and like you're taking advantage of people. So believing in what you're selling is a big freaking deal in sales. If you can honestly go in or be on the phone or meet with someone, sell a product or service that you truthfully believe in and that you know will deliver the results that you are promising, or over-deliver on the results that you're promising, then that is when sales feels good. It's when we're helping. It's when we're being a human with integrity. So make sure that you believe in your product, and if there's a disconnect, you need to figure out how to fix that. Number 2, you need to qualify your leads. You need to know who your ideal client or customer is. You want to know their problems, their needs, their wants, their wishes. This will help you from wasting your time on people who don't actually need what you're selling or don't want what you're selling. And it will also avoid you wasting other people's time. And no one likes to have their time wasted, right? You know how that feels. I know how that feels. Nobody likes it. So who is your ideal customer? What problems do they have? What price range can they afford? Where else do they shop? What level of service do they expect? What are their wants and needs? And what is on their wish list? You need to know the answers to all of those questions to really qualify your leads well, so that, again, you're not wasting your time or theirs. Now, if you don't know the answer to these questions, you need to do some market research, and you are welcome to come into my Facebook community where I have over 500 women in the group, and they would be happy to answer your questions on what they're looking for when they're looking for your product or service. So feel free to join in and jump into that group and ask some questions. This kind of takes me to point number 3, which is we listen in sales more than we talk. If you are an OG listener of this podcast, bless you. I love you. Thank you for sticking with me on this journey. You already know what I'm about to say. You need to ask questions, and then listen. Ask and listen. Ask and listen. A&L. Ask and listen. So what do you need to know about your person to make sure that they need or want what you are selling? Can you identify their buying styles? If you haven't listened to episode, it's either number 3 or number 4. I think it's number 3. Go back and listen to that buying style episode. That will greatly help you in connecting with customers and how they make decisions so that you can present your information, your service or offer to them in a way that makes sense for them. You need to ask open-ended questions and then shut your mouth. Let them talk. Then when they're talking, ask clarifying questions on anything that you aren't 100% sure about. Ask lots and lots and lots of questions and listen to their answers. Make notes, take notes, jot things down, put them in the notes in your phone, do whatever you got to do so that you remember what they say, because they will tell you exactly how to sell their product if you ask enough questions and the right questions. All right, moving on. Number 4, you're going to want to show some social proof. So you're going to build credibility for yourself by sharing others' experiences. So whether that's reviews, how you've supported their successes, what their outcomes have been, what their experiences are, share how others are using your product or service and how happy they've been with it, what they've experienced, and shed some positive light from someone else's perspective, not just yours. Social proof can go a really, really long way in taking the ick factor out of selling, taking the salesiness out of selling, and really showing what your product or service or offer can do. Number 5, we are going to sell with integrity and you're going to be of service. I mentioned this earlier. Don't oversell or overpromise something that you can't deliver. Be truthful, be helpful, be respectful. I'm laughing in my head right now about the be mindful, be demure, whatever, very demure, very mindful meme that's been, or, audio clip that's been going around on social media. But it's true. You have to be mindful of what you're selling and what you're promising. Your reputation is on the line. It's on the line every time you open your mouth. So make sure that you're giving to give, not giving so that you can end up taking. You need to be of service to your customers. Remember that they are spending their hard-earned money on your service or product. So deliver an excellent product or service and really show up and support them in their customer journey with you. All right, number 6, and this one's a really hot button for me. Please don't bash your competition. There is enough room in the market for all of us, and every one of us is in a different part of our business journey, in our product or service journey, and in our lives. We don't need to compare ourselves to others. We don't need to compare our product to others. Now, with that said, you need to know their product as well as you can. You need to know what they're offering, and you need to know what they do well and what they don't do well. That's where you can compare and contrast rather than bash their product. You need to know where your offer shines, but you also need to know where your offer lacks, where it doesn't hit the mark that maybe someone else's does. It doesn't mean you have a bad product or that they have a bad product or that you have the better product. It's just that your products and your offerings are different. So sell where you shine. Don't be afraid to share where it lacks, but don't bash your competition. It's icky, it's yucky, it's terrible, and it's salesy. And it's definitely something we want to avoid. Let's recap really quickly my top 6 tips for avoiding being salesy. Number 1, do you believe in what you're selling? And if not, fix it. Number 2, you need to know your ideal client or customer so that you can qualify your leads. Number 3, listen more often than you speak. Ask questions and then listen. Number 4, show some social proof to build your credibility. Number 5, sell with integrity always and be of service. And number 6, don't ever bash your competition. I hope these tips are helpful to you as you grow and improve your sales skills, because sales skills are life skills, and the better that you sell your product and service, the better you communicate, and the better you communicate, the better you sell your products. It's this kind of circle that just keeps going. That's never ending. The better you get at sales, the better you get at communicating. The better you get at communicating, the better you get at sales. Thank you again for joining me for the 30th episode of Sales and Business Strategy for Women. Again, if you haven't followed this show already on your podcast app, wherever you listen, please hit that follow button so that you don't miss an episode. And I look forward to speaking with you next time. Have a great day.